I'm Eddie Muller, welcoming you to this holiday edition of Noir Alley. I'm happy to have you join me for a classic noir, one that's a landmark in American cinema for several reasons, none having to do with its Christmas spirit. It's Kiss of Death, released by 20th Century Fox in 1947. The film marked the screen debuts of several performers who'd go on to stellar careers, a couple of them leaving a particular mark in what would later be known as film noir. It's not every performer who creates something legendary in their initial screen appearance, but that's the case with one of the supporting players in today's film. Kiss of Death marked the first on-screen appearance of Richard Widmark, and it's not hyperbole to suggest it's among the most memorable debuts in motion picture history. He plays two-bit hood Tommy Udo, a character that, frankly, was a dime a dozen in Hollywood crime pictures. A shifty villain with no backstory, no character development, absolutely nothing remarkable about him as written in the script. In fact, director Henry Hathaway didn't see anything special in Widmark either. He didn't want him for the role. He'd ignored Widmark's screen test because he already had somebody else in mind, a nightclub entertainer he thought might bring something unique to the part. If that didn't fly, Hathaway was prepared to cast Fox contract player Richard Conte. But studio boss Darryl Zanuck overruled Hathaway. He saw something distinctive in Widmark's eyes and his weird, high-pitched giggle. Hathaway fought it, saying Widmark looked more like an intellectual than a hoodlum, a suggestion solved by fitting the actor with a hairpiece that shortened his forehead and made him look a little stupider. In truth, Widmark was an intellectual, an honor student in college with a keen interest in history and a few years' experience in radio and theater. But his first day on a Hollywood set, playing a scene with actress Mildred Dunnick, Widmark changed motion pictures forever, displaying a gleeful sadism that was something entirely new in movies. This was a long way from Jimmy Cagney pushing a grapefruit in Mae Clark's face in Public Enemy. This was squirrely and scary psychopathy, and audiences loved it. Widmark would be nominated for an Oscar as Best Supporting Actor, which I guess is the definition of starting at the top. But it wasn't Widmark who was getting the big push by the studio. This was also the breakout picture for actress Colleen Gray. She's the one who got the "and introducing" credit in all the promotional material. I don't know of another actress who had so much good fortune right out of the gate. After a one-line bit in State Fair, she was cast in a string of exceptional films by some of the biggest directors in the business. Red River by Howard Hawks, Kiss of Death by Henry Hathaway, Nightmare Alley by Edmund Goulding, and Riding High by Frank Capra. And in this picture, she has the distinction of being one of the few women to provide voiceover narration for a crime picture. But let's not forget that the entire production was designed as a vehicle for its leading man, Victor Mature. Since the beginning of the 40s, Mature had steadily become one of the studio's most reliable box office attractions, and he was tailor-made for the rising tide of crime pictures, underplaying like colleagues Robert Mitchum and Dana Andrews, and always looking sharp and sexy in a suit and fedora. He's great in this film, giving a tense but nuanced performance as a crook trying to go straight, squeezed into being a stool pigeon. His performance was, however, overshadowed. Nuance didn't stand a chance against Widmark's freshly minted craziness. The screenplay by Ben Hecht and Charles Lederer is based on a treatment by Elazar Lipsky, assistant district attorney for the city of New York. His story wasn't afraid to show the ugly workings of the justice system, which gives the film a patina of authenticity. It was enhanced by Zanuck's decision to have Hathaway shoot the film on location. At this point, the director was known as the leading practitioner of semi-documentary style, which in truth has nothing to do with documentary filmmaking. It just meant shooting on location as opposed to the studio. Kiss of Death made extensive use of actual New York locations, including the Chrysler Building, the Criminal Courts buildings, Sing Sing Prison, and Old St. Nicholas Arena. There's your Christmas tie-in. It also stars Brian Donlevy and features Taylor Holmes and Carl Malden in one of his first film roles. And it starts in classic noir fashion, a heist that goes awry. on Christmas Eve. Here is Kiss of Death.